everybody, it's Shadrach, and I am here bringing you another solo today. I know that these solos are getting a bit redundant. We're basically in Vader 1 and myself. What we're doing here is, this is winding down towards the end of Mass Effect 3. You know, the longevity of the game is only going to be out so long. We are going to continue playing it until Mass Effect 4 comes out, but I'm sure you're finding in lobbies it's a little harder to find, you know, a team, etc. So what we're doing is we're really hitting this game hard at the end. We're getting these really tough Platinum Solo challenges done. If there's any videos that I'm not doing that you guys would like to see, please let me know. I am very open for ideas. I'm very open for you guys. Your opinions mean so much to me. So don't be shy. Let me know if there's something I'm not doing that you guys would like to see. But for now, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of Platinum Solos. They're going to be getting harder and better. Every one I do is getting shorter, more efficient. I still haven't done a perfect game yet or 10 Wave Survive, so I'm working towards that. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, I'm going to go over my strategy, well, the strategy, I guess, for this map here. As you notice where I started there, right between the two slanted pillars by the ammo crate, I'm looking towards the bottom, and what I'm hoping for is across a kitty corner from where I am, I want the enemies to spawn right there. So one thing that really helped me on this map that I was having a little bit of a problem with my first couple attempts, I was trying to keep to a clockwise rotation. This map is very balanced. It's very similar on both ends, other than the lower staircase on the far side and the higher kind of staircase on this side. It's a very balanced map, so honestly it really doesn't matter which way you rotate. So I would let the enemies dictate which way you're gonna move, because trying to fight through the enemies is never, you know, your best option. You know, it's if you got the firepower to do it, great, but on Platinum and you're by yourself, usually you don't. So as you can see, I'm going counterclockwise here right now at the beginning of this match. Wave 1, I got pretty comfortable with Wave 1. This took me, must have taken me like at least 5 or 6 attempts. I was uploading a video last night. 2 of my attempts ended really tragically. I was on Wave 9 actually on 2 of my attempts, and one of my attempts actually I was on Wave 10, and I actually got picked up by a Banshee halfway through a biotic charge, which makes no sense at all. I can only think that it was because I was uploading a video and it kind of gave me a little bit of lag. Another time I biotic charged into a Phantom and ended up in the middle of her body somehow, and we were at 1 for a brief moment till she insta-killed me. But as you can see, I'm down here. This is pretty much my second turnaround point. I'm on the opposite corner of the map from where I started. And really here, what I'm doing is I'm using the Acolyte to break their shields, to prime them with Incinerate. I'm using Incinerate round 4. I also have, obviously I have the Acolyte. I have the high velocity barrel on the Acolyte with the extended thermal clip capacity. And for this first couple waves, I'm pretty much just kind of winging it. I'm going where the enemies aren't. I'm just making sure I have a back door everywhere I go, so that way if I get a little overwhelmed I can get out of there. I'm priming the enemies with Incinerate. I also have a Power Amplifier 3 for my Acolyte. So this Acolyte is locked and loaded, man. It's a heavy hitting Acolyte, that's for sure. So I'm priming the enemies, and my biotic charge is detonating. So it's a great combination. I only spec'd into biotic charge. I spec'd into my barrier, and full passive, full fitness. This Krogan has absolutely no points into melee. For rank 4 on his passive, I actually went for the power and weight capacity bonus, trying to keep that biotic charge available anytime I need it. So I really wanted to keep my recharge as high as possible. I definitely took a pretty healthy weight penalty by putting the high velocity barrel on the pistol. My secondary weapon is the Hurricane, and I actually went with the lightweight mod and the high velocity barrel for that also, just to keep the armor piercing effect there with the Incinerate ammo. Basically, I pretty much only kept the Hurricane with me just to deal with the Guardians for the most part. I really didn't need the stability dampener on it because I was just hip firing it and only dealing with using it very rarely in this game did I use it. I probably didn't even need to bring it with me, to be honest. Later on in this match, actually, I'll point out how I deal with the Guardians with the Acolyte. Basically, all you got to do is you want to aim about a foot above the shield. Just pretend like they have a big head that's sticking up, like a big bird head, sticking out above the shield, and aim for that little spot right there. Wave 1 is complete, so I'm going on wave 2. I don't know if this is the best starting point. It seemed to work for me. I really didn't have much control over whether they spawned on the far corner or if they spawned on the bottom right of where I am right now. But it worked out, so I just kept to that basic strategy. If they spawn, like for example where they did right here, then I would, if I couldn't take them out, then I will move clockwise around the map. And if they spawn on the other side and they come up my left side, then I'll just go counterclockwise around the map. Very simple. I definitely think that being able to play both rotations comfortably and not really have it matter really helped me a lot in this solo. It made all the difference, actually. It really did. The Juggernauts were a little difficult to deal with, not as difficult as I thought. Having Biotic Charge readily available, I also have a Cyclonic 4 on, so that greatly increases my shields. There is a reason why I have armored compartments. Now, let me tell you guys something. I do speedruns on this map. I'm very, very familiar with this map. Like this map feels home to me. The one thing that we wish for, the one thing that you would need to break the world record on this map is targets on 3, targets on 6, and targets on 10. Now, of the hundreds and hundreds of times that I played this map, I would say every 250 times that I played it, I probably get targets on all 3. So I play this and I get targets, not this attempt, but the attempt before this, I got targets on 3, 6, and 10. So it was just unbelievable, and didn't make it past 10. The following game, the one prior to this game, I got targets on 6 and targets on, no, just targets on 6, sorry. So basically bringing the armored compartments was just a bit of an insurance policy for me. This game, like I talked about in my last solo, is a troll. This game loves to troll you. I swear that there's a sensor built into the disc or something that can read your brainwaves, and if you are asking for a certain objective, it is going to give you the one that you're not asking for, or it's going to give you one that's going to be really difficult for you and your team to do. So, we're on wave 2. I'm on the far corner of the map from where I like to start. Just biotic charging, detonating fire explosions. If you notice throughout the gameplay here, I've set Biotic Charge to hit multiple targets, and there's definitely a splash damage effect with the Acolyte. So, if I put 3 or 4 shots into a group of enemies, I'm going to prime 3 or 4 enemies with Incinerate, and when I go in for that Biotic Charge, I'm going to have multiple fire explosions. So the collateral damage that I'm doing is just, it's unreal. And this is an extremely deadly combination. The Krogan has extremely high survivability. This is definitely a prime kit to deal with the Geth on this map. I definitely think that he is built to deal with something of this level. The Geth are just so notorious for their large amount of DPS they deal out and their stagger effect. I'm still getting staggered quite a bit, don't get me wrong, but being able to Biotic Charge and get myself out of trouble at the press of a button is priceless in this situation. So if you notice throughout the game too, there's been many times I take on 2 primes. You just got to keep an eye on that health bar, that bar down there. I got really close to getting down right there. But just keep an eye on your barrier bar. And every time that you need to get that barrier up, just Biotic Charge. Keep corner shooting. Try and take those turrets out. It's definitely a big difference for me. What I did that really helped me going from my first couple attempts to my last couple attempts was on the Acolyte. I had basically the stability mod on the Hurricane, and then my Acolyte I had the lightweight mod on, which kept me at 200%. And so what I did is I switched that. I took the stability dampener off of my SNG, put the lightweight mod on, and then I took off the lightweight mod from the Acolyte and put on the extended clip, which gave me 5 shots instead of 3 shots. Now, it might not seem like much, but added up throughout the game, not having to reload after 3 shots really made a huge difference. If I put 2 or 3 shots into something on my right flank, and then all of a sudden there was a Dragoon, or not a Dragoon, sorry, like a Rocket Trooper or something on my left side, I was able to turn very quickly, and I always had a couple Acolyte shots to put rounds into the enemy that was flanking me, followed by a quick Biotic Charge, detonating a fire explosion. And usually that makes really short work of whatever enemy was on my flank. As you can see, I have objects recovered. What I always do with objects, unless the object is right beside me, right when the wave starts, I will try to position myself on the opposite end of the map from where the objective is. It's really common sense. I know I say this every time that I do my solos here, but I'm sure there's a lot of you that haven't watched my other solos, and a lot of you that are new to the game, and so I'm just saying that for you guys. So anyways, I pull the enemies away from the objective as much as possible. This is going to work for your hacks, this is going to work for devices, this is going to work for most objectives. You want to pull the enemies as far away from the objective as possible, then you grab the objective and you make on your merry way with it, and hopefully you can get the objective in for a safe landing without taking too much damage or too much repercussion. I would definitely like to say, like, if you've played, for example, zombies on Call of Duty, it's very similar to platinum soloing and doing these objectives. You know, basically you're kiting the enemies from one point of the map to the next. You know, you don't want to hang out in one spot too long because you'll get overwhelmed, so you need to duck out before that happens, but you don't want to leave too soon because you don't want them to cut through the middle of the map and cut you off. So it's all about timing, really, doing these platinum solos. Even, you know, silver, bronze, gold solos, it's just timing, knowing when to move. If you're having a hard time with the map, just keep trying, keep doing it, keep going. You work out the bugs. It takes some time sometimes. It's the best way to learn how to survive at this game is just by doing. I think a lot of things, pretty much everything in life is like that, honestly. You know, you just do it. You get off your butt and you do it. And if you fail, you get up and you try again. You don't sit down there and cry and whimper, just get up and do it again. And that's definitely the best way that you're going to progress at doing these solos, and you're going to progress at the game in general. I know that a lot of the stuff I'm saying is common sense to a lot of you, and I know I repeat myself a lot too, but I want this to be really embedded in your guys' heads, that, you know, no guts, no glory, I think is what they say, right? If you're not willing to get up and put forth the effort, then you're not going to get anything. You're just going to be sitting on the sideline, and nothing good is going to happen for you. So, you know, like I said, get up. No guts, no glory. Let's do these solos. Let's become better Mass Effect 3 players together here. I think that the solo community, I know I talked about this the last solo about Invader 1's thread about the Solo Hall of Fame. I think it's amazing what he's doing with that. My hat's off to you again, Invader, for that. If you guys haven't seen that, please check it out. See what he's done. He's done really great work on there with that. He's given credit to basically everyone that has some form of proof, whether it be a screenshot, a picture from your camera showing the scoreboard at the end, or full-length video on YouTube, or just a full-length video anywhere. He's been very thorough. He's gone through all of YouTube. He's gone all over the internet trying to find these platinum solos and to archive them. So he's done great work. It's as the game winds down and there's less people to play with, I think that what better thing to do than to get these solos done and to really push your abilities to the max and really challenge yourself. Well, as you can see, I'm winding down on my cleanup here. The wave is complete, so I'm on wave 4 now. I definitely can say the hardest thing about this solo was honestly just the Phantoms and the Banshees. They were really, really annoying. The Phantoms weren't as bad as the Banshees. The Banshees just really push you around the map. I had a hard time getting kills because they were pushing me so fast. Trying to make them stop by hitting them with Accolade shots, you know, and I wouldn't dare biotic charge a Banshee, especially on wave 7, 8, or 9 even, right? Like, making it to that high of a level, the last thing I want to do is biotic charge a Banshee. There is a tactic that I was using. It's an elevational tactic. You'll see me use it on the later waves, and I'll talk a bit more about it then. But the gist of it is basically a Banshee cannot insta-kill you on stairs as long as she's not equal, like on the same step as you. So as long as you stay lower or higher than her on the staircase, then she can't insta-kill you. So what I would do is, as she would separate herself from the rest of the pack, I would basically wait for her on a set of steps, and just drop accolade shot after accolade shot into her when she was right in front of me. It's good to choose a bigger staircase than a smaller one because it gives you less of a margin for error. There's more area that you can move around. You got to really watch for that first teleport, because if she teleports right next to you, you are vulnerable to be insta-killed. So what you want to do is you want to just really stay cautious of that. When she comes next to you, make sure that you're either on a step higher or a step lower than her. That was when I did biotic charge her every chance I got. You know, just priming her with incinerate ammo for my acolyte, following through with the biotic charge for the biotic explosion. As you can see, it's a very, very, very effective tactic. I'm basically hitting these phantoms with one shot and then biotic charging them with a fire explosion. Here's another example right here. It looks like I'm not going to get my... Oh, there's my biotic charge. Kaboom. That was 2 acolyte shots, but all it takes is 1. Here's another example right here. Lots of phantoms on this wave, definitely. And that was a very close call right there. That could have been the end of me. Like I said, the Krogan is very big. He's very slow. At a straight sprint, he's pretty quick. But when I have to adjust when enemies get close to me, it's very dangerous. I'm very vulnerable. You have to be very predictive with characters that don't have an evasive ability. Definitely moving cover to cover is very key to having success with these characters. If you try to backpedal, for example, with a Prime or a Praetorian or even Rocket Troopers or anything, if you're just walking backwards and you have no cover, it's a very risky game you're playing right there, because, like, you can't really evade, so you're just going to eat every single round that comes your way. So my recommendation definitely is to run to the cover. Make sure you have decent cover that you can strafe behind if a Phantom, a Banshee Ball, Warp Ball comes in your way, or anything of that nature. And as soon as you start to get a little overwhelmed, then either biotic charge out of there if you're using the Krogard, or just turn and run to the next point on the map where you feel comfortable with turning around and dealing some damage. As you can see here, I really pushed the bar quite a bit. I hung out in areas. I got very close to being down many times. What I'm trying to do here basically is I'm trying to jam up all the enemies together the best I can, basically. So by staying here and corner shooting as long as I can and then getting fire explosions, I'm getting mass collateral damage on these enemies. I'm really trying to work on speeding these solos up. Not only I don't think you guys want to watch really long solos, but for me to come up with content to talk about for a long period of time it's very difficult. You can only talk about the gameplay so much before I really start sounding redundant. So I apologize if I'm redundant. I apologize if I'm boring you guys. I really hope I'm not. But that's why that last video I talked a bit about my experience growing up in Japan and stuff like that. And I think I'll start as I get more and more into my YouTube channel and my subscriber base gets bigger and bigger. I'll start talking a bit more about my experiences growing up and stuff like that. Especially if you guys show an interest in that. Actually, you know what? I think I am going to use that as an opener right now for a topic that I like to talk a bit about. I want to talk about my motivation behind why I'm doing this YouTube channel. A huge part of it is I want to build a community, a positive community of players that that I can basically put out a call and be like, hey, I'm hosting a public event with Invader. Anyone who's interested in some nice friendly gameplay and wants to get together with us and play, please let me know. I think that it's a great way to meet people, a great way to meet good quality people. Let me rephrase that. And also another part is not financial independence, but eventually I'm hoping that I can get to the point where I can make a little bit of money doing this. And now this is the reason why. My son is he's very heavily he's autistic. He's only 3 years old, and I live in British Columbia. The government gives me some support. His mother is has him a couple nights a week, so I am the primary caretaker of my son. So I'm not able to work a lot. I make enough money basically to pay the bills, and that's the gist of it. So actually what I'm hoping here is that potentially down the road, maybe when Destiny comes out or Mass Effect 4, with a lot of hard work and positive thinking, I'm hoping that maybe I can change my financial situation a little bit more for the better. I think those are just reasons and motivations for doing what I do here on YouTube. I love it. I love making videos for you guys. I love hearing from you guys, and just being involved in the Mass Effect 3 scene is just it's such a fun thing for me. The game, you guys are all aware, IGN gave it, I believe it's Game of the Year for the trilogy. So this game is no joke. I mean, this game is the real deal, man. It's there's not a lot out there that's on the level that BioWare is with Mass Effect. So I'm very happy to be involved with this game. I'm blessed, actually. Invader 1 has been a blessing for me also, and a great friend. He's a really good stand-up quality guy. So I'm sure all of you guys out there that have had the opportunity to meet him or to game with him would definitely agree. He doesn't have a bad bone in his body. He's a really quality, top-notch guy. So I'm very the friends that I've made here through Mass Effect and the quality people that I've met. It's been great. It's been amazing. There's been very few people that have left a bad taste in my mouth. I really think that, you know, a big part of why I think we get a lot of the quality that we do and we meet a lot of the people that we do here in Mass Effect as opposed to, say, COD or a lot of these more competitive style games is I honestly think that the competitive scene really brings the worst out in a lot of people. It brings a lot of hate, a lot of frustration, animosity, a lot of anger. You know, no one likes to lose, right? And losing against AI, I think, is just it's a little easier to swallow than losing against someone who's telling you how much of a bad player you are and basically spitting every negative word in the book at you. It definitely, it's very frustrating. It's not positive. It's not, you know, you want to leave gaming with a smile on your face, man. You know, there's enough nastiness and enough bad things going on in the world that, you know, last thing we need is to experience that on a daily basis playing games where we're trying to get away from reality and trying to relax and enjoy ourselves. You know, this is a hobby. This is a pastime. This is supposed to be something that we enjoy and that we do. I really think that, you know, having co-op games on my channel and promoting co-op gameplay is the way of the future. I think that co-op games are becoming more and more popular. The camaraderie that you deal by dealing with, you know, we have to pool our resources to deal with one common threat, one common enemy, the AI. I think that is going to become bigger and bigger. We're seeing it with a lot of these games. Even Call of Duty Ghost has a very, very big co-op section they're calling squads. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the recent trailer that they put out, but basically they have a section where you can play a 4-man squad or a 6-man squad, and if you have players that aren't available, they can be replaced with AI to play on your team for you or with you. And you basically have various settings and various options that you can do and various missions that you can do, and you put your squad together and work together to you know, to pass these missions. I think it's kind of like Infinity Ward's version of zombies. So, you know, if it also that's a great example of the success of co-op games and how it's getting bigger and bigger and more popular in the video game industry. Call of Duty, the Treyarch Studios has been putting out a mini game. It started as a mini game, and we all are very familiar with, I'm sure, Zombies, or at least heard of. And it's a 4-person co-op game, basically, where you have unlimited rounds, and you make it as far as you can against zombies. And as the ways progress, they get harder and faster. And basically, it's similar to this in some sense. 4-person. You know, the way you basically go through waves and you survive, except for this has objective waves and this has an ending, right? Whereas zombies is just endless. It goes on and on and on. It's you know, you have one common enemy. You have the AI, which is in Nazi zombies, obviously the zombies. I think that playing with your team, playing with your friends, it's so much funner than playing against people. I do have a competitive spirit, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy playing PvPs, but, you know, to make that my primary game, my primary source of entertainment, it can be very stressful. I think that, you know, sometimes it can be good stress, but a lot of times, you know, that's just not what I need. I need something where I'm working with friends to overcome an objective together that doesn't have a mouth or doesn't send me messages saying that I'm cheating because it couldn't be the fact that I'm a better player than them or anything like that. So anyways, I think you guys get the point what I'm trying to say here. We have Destiny coming out, right? And Destiny is going to be co-op. There is a multiplayer aspect to it, but the core game, the main part of the game, is the co-op aspect. It is an MMO. We have another game called The Division that's coming out, and if you guys haven't seen The Division or heard of The Division, this game looks really, really cool. It is one of Tom Clancy's games, and if you guys don't know already, Tom Clancy died. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. So rest in peace, Tom Clancy. He did a lot of great things for the video game industry. Amazing novels. I don't know much about the guy, but you know, from what I know and from what I've heard, he's contributed a lot to this world and to us as core gamers. So I also Splinter Cell is another game that has a lot of co-op aspects to it, and I'm doing videos here and there on Splinter Cell. I think that Splinter Cell Blacklist, it's a really good game. I really like the fact that it's third person. It really involves a lot of stealth, a lot of planning, and teamwork, right? Like playing with another player is teamwork is very critical on that. They do have Spies versus Mercs, which is their PvP version of the game, which is a lot of fun. It's not my favorite part of the game, but it is a lot of fun. The campaign is amazing. The writing is really well done. If you guys haven't checked out Splinter Cell Blacklist, check out some of my videos if you're interested, and it should give you a good idea what the game's all about. If you're serious about the game, don't watch the last video though, because it will spoil the ending, and I don't know, if you're anything like me, I hate spoilers, so just a heads up, don't watch the last video because it will spoil the ending. But I wanted to still talk a little bit about The Division, and The Division, basically takes place in New York, in the future definitely, and there's something like along the lines of a flu epidemic, kind of something that basically knocked the population down quite a bit. The government has collapsed, and you're part of an organization basically that has been set up by the government prior to this disaster happening to help reestablish the government, to help reestablish order, to help get things going again if something of this magnitude was to happen. And so you're basically going around, you're a four-man team, the characters are highly customizable, the graphics are phenomenal, and the really cool thing that I thought was really neat about this game is basically, let's say that three people and myself are playing this game, and one person has an hour ride to school every day and back, and so we're playing in the morning. He's like, okay guys, I gotta go to school. So he gets off, we invite another friend to take his place, and he can actually get on with his iPad or his iPhone or his tablet or his Android, anything like that, and he can actually play as a fifth person who flies around in a HUD, or a UAV, and he can debuff enemies, he can buff his teammates, he can give intel, he can locate different objectives on the map for the team. Basically flies around in a little UAV doing all of this, and there's many functions he can do. He can communicate with the team still, and he can do all this without an Xbox One, just with a tablet or an iPhone or anything like that. So I thought that was really, really cool. If you guys want, check out the E3 trailer for the game. It's The Division, like dividing the division. I know that there's not a lot of advertisements going on for this game, but I think it's going to be a top-notch game. I really do. I don't spend a lot of time playing like a whole bunch of different games. I usually play maybe 3 games a year, and I really like to pick quality games and just really dig deep in those few games and really experience the game to the most. I think that shows in the fact that I have the #1 spot on the leaderboard, and that I maintained that #1 spot for a very long time when this game was first coming out. The hiatus that I took playing Black Ops 2 was almost 10 months, and here I am. I'm back on top, first place. I did it clean. I didn't need a cheat. I dealt with a lot of cheaters. It's very unfortunate, because really, when you're cheating, you're only cheating yourself. Really quick here before I lose the opportunity to talk about this, as you can see right here, I am holding the staircase with this Banshee. She does not have the leverage or the level to pick me up and insta-kill me, so I'm going to take advantage of this, and I'm going to just keep biotic charging, keep on priming her with Incinerate, and I got 3 pyros around me there, so it's time to get out of there, because they are going to melt me. So I think that Banshee is almost dead. She is very close to dead. Look how fast their barriers come back, man. It is amazing. If it wasn't for the fact that I had an Acolyte, I would honestly, Disruptor rounds with the Acolyte is very nice. It gives you that 8-second window where you don't have to worry about their shields or their barriers coming back. The Incinerate rounds, I think, are definitely a must with this character, though, just because of the priming with Incinerate and detonating the fire explosions. But I did a solo with the Geth Trooper on Thunderdome or Glacier Hazard against the Geth. And let me tell you, those Disruptor rounds were key. They were absolutely key to me and my success with that map and that solo. Basically using the Acolyte with the 5 times multiplier to shields and barriers with the Disruptor rounds, not allowing their shields and barriers to recharge for 8 seconds, plus the bonus. I believe it was the 30% for a level 4 disruptor round bonus to damage. Lots of stunning, man. I was stun locking the enemies all over the board. I think a big thing with the Geth, you know, if you can stun them before they stun you, then you're doing well. So the disruptor rounds were amazing. I had the flamer, so I really didn't need the incendiary rounds. What I did is I just stripped their shields and barriers with my acolyte, and then when they were done with their shields and barriers, I just melted their armor with my flamer. The flamer does amazing damage to armor, and the acolyte is just amazing damage to shields and barriers. The only other thing I could think that maybe I would do different that would work would maybe use the Geth plasma shotgun or maybe the venom. Both really good for staggering enemies and really good with disruptor rounds. I don't use disruptor rounds very often, so I'm really happy that I found a good combination to use them with. They are just so bad used with biotic teams, and honestly, it's just, you know, incendiary ammo is just so much better. Warp ammo is so much better. I just don't really find very much use for the disruptor rounds. I really like the phasic rounds though, with the javelin or any high damage weapon, you know, like the claymore, being able to avoid shield gate and then having a 15-second shield recharge delay for the enemies when you hit them with that ammo is just phenomenal. Really good for solos. I definitely wish they had a level 4 of phasic rounds, because you don't get a lot of damage bonus from those rounds, but definitely the penalty on the enemy for their shield and barrier recharge is phenomenal. Man, I'll tell you guys, these Krogans, man, they are no joke. I never really got into the Krogans or the Batarians or any enemy that didn't have an evasive ability. I've always been kind of turned off by them. But after doing this solo here, you know, I do use the Batarian Slasher quite a bit. I think he's an amazing adept. He is my favorite Batarian. But I think guys are going to be seeing a lot more gameplay with me using characters that don't evade after this solo here. I've definitely found my rhythm with these characters. So they're extremely tanky. If you play very predictive, like I said earlier, and you're moving from cover to cover and you're not backpedaling, you can really do a lot of work with these characters. Definitely on a team where you're holding a line or you have a teammate watching your flank, they're definitely going to shine a lot more in that kind of a situation. Not having the evasive ability, I definitely struggled with the Banshees. They moved so fast, and then not being able to turn a 180 to run very quickly. I definitely had some close calls dealing with the Banshees. Even the Phantoms actually had some really close calls also. And that's where playing predictively is really going to come in handy and come into play. So right there, you saw that Banshee. She teleported right beside me. I mean, that was really close. That could have been an insta kill right there. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying really hard to stay ahead of her. It's just frustrating when she's pushing you away from enemies, and you're knocking some enemies down really quickly. So I tried really hard just to stay as far away from her as possible, trying to get to these enemies as quick as I can to knock this wave budget down. A lot of the enemies on this wave they're just not worth a lot on the wave budget, so it's definitely a long one. I think I get 30 points for the bombers, 40 to 45 for the pyros and the troopers and the the marauders. There's just not a lot of points really there. But you know, you take what you get, right? There's not a lot I can do about that. So I guess I could just focus on the Banshees, but I think the amount of time it's going to take me to kill a Banshee, I could probably kill 4 or 5 marauders or 4 or 5 any of the smaller, weaker enemies. These rounds definitely drag on. I was really paranoid and nervous on these rounds just because of the insta-kill factor from those Banshees and how fast they're pushing me and how fast they're on me. I think the game before this, actually, I felt like I was just constantly sprinting around the map, just constantly sprinting. This is actually going at a much better pace than my previous couple of games that I had. So I'm just kind of finishing off the wave here. I think I've actually hit my wave budget. Yeah, it looks like I've hit my wave budget. There's always those marauders hiding in those little corners, man, let me tell you. So I may not have hit my wave budget, actually. But anyway, so as you can see, it takes about 3-4 shots to take down a pyro, and I could detonate them after 2 shots and kill them, but a lot of times that's just not an option. Man, Biotic Charge is just such a phenomenal power. Off host, I definitely wouldn't recommend it, but doing solos, it really helped a lot. That instant detonation, the bonus that I have to my weapon after my Biotic Charge. I think that, obviously on a four-man team, you're probably going to spec the Krogan a lot differently than the way I spec'd him. I went bottom for fitness. My passive, I went for damage and capacity, power damage and force bonuses, and then weapon damage. That definitely gave me a little bit more damage on my powers. My fortification, or is it fortification or barrier? I'm sorry, I can't remember right now. I'm a little flustered here. But anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. I spec'd for the 15% faster shield regen time, and I really think that I should have spec'd for the 30% extra bonus to force and to power damage and force bonus. I would definitely change that. That's one thing I would do differently. There was a couple of times where I've done Biotic Charges and I felt that I should have killed the enemy and I didn't, and I think that would have been the factor that would have changed that. So I got a bomber up here, I got a Banshee, Banshee's done. I'm just closing up the wave here, and shouldn't take me long. It looks like that's it, wave complete. So I'm back here at my starting point, grabbing some ammo. One thing I can definitely say, this game, this map is very good for ammo. You could bring a Harrier, you can bring a Rieger, any weapon like that on this map, and ammo is definitely not an issue. Also, the ammo boxes are in very convenient locations. Lots of grenades on this map in those ammo boxes too. I'm pretty sure that's barrier. Yeah, now that I think about it, sorry guys, I feel like such a noob right now. Yeah, that's barrier. I had a long night last night and I didn't get a lot of sleep. Had to get my kid off to daycare early, and yeah, just had a late start to the day. So I'm just not on key here, not 100% on point. So I apologize for that. Also, my voice, if you guys can't tell, I'm getting a little bit of a cold here, so I'm a little raspy on the voice, so apologize for that too. I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. So I'm on the other side of the map from where I started. You definitely got to watch out for Ravengers. I believe there's one Ravager on this map, on this level, wave 8. Wave 7 and 8, I definitely could say they're not really difficult waves. Wave 9 is the wave that you really got to look out for against Geth. It's a very difficult wave. Lots of enemies. If you're going to spend a couple of rockets, that is the wave to spend those rockets on. This wave really is just the Banshees. They just push you around the board. You got to watch that insta-kill factor. It's like I said, it's not a really hard wave. It's a dangerous wave. You got to really keep moving. You got to keep an eye on those Banshees, and just really have good map awareness. That's definitely, there's both Banshees. See, I get both the Banshees together a couple of times, and it's weird because most solos I don't have a problem getting them synced up together, but for some reason on this map they just would not sync up together properly. So I'd always have one Banshee on one side of the map, the other on the other, and I'd run through one side and the other one would be there, and she would chase me to the other side of the map, and it was just like, I just felt like I was being ping-ponged around the map by these Banshees here. So I'm trying to really keep my distance from them, and I'm trying really hard to get this wave budget down at the same time. So it's definitely very stressful, these two waves. So right there, see, even though I had that cover there, that warp bomb hit me. He's a very tanky character. I think I could probably handle about 3 warp bombs. One thing that I wanted to bring up, actually, speaking of warp bombs, if you ever get hit by a warp bomb and you're getting close to breaking that shield gate, the DOT's taking effect. I'm sure a lot of you know this already, but take cover. Take cover against a wall, put your back to a wall, or anything like that. And it actually, I don't know what the exact spec is on the damage reduction, but you get a pretty healthy damage reduction, and it will cut down that DOT effect it's a pretty decent damage reduction. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind for just survivability's sake. If you're ever, in a gunfight and you're ever in a situation where you're getting hit and you have an opportunity to put your back against a wall or behind cover, then, go for it, because that's going to greatly increase your chances of surviving, especially in solo situations like, what I'm doing right now, obviously. So keep that in mind, guys. If you don't know that already, that's another one of those things that you just, hear of. I actually just heard about that the other day. I knew that it gave you a bonus to your accuracy, and I didn't know that it gave you a damage reduction bonus. But like I said, I'm constantly learning. We're all constantly learning. The learning curve on this game is just huge. just massive. I mean, that's quite probably a noob thing to know, but I didn't know it until recently. And I've been playing this game, you know, thousands of hours I put into this game. Anyways, so I'm hopefully winding down this wave here. It looks like the wave budget's been hit, but I could be wrong. See, what do we got here? We got Banshee on my right, Banshee on my left, Ravager down low. I'm trying to lock onto that for biotic charge. Almost got myself in trouble. There's my biotic charge. And those Ravagers are actually worth a lot of points. So I think on wave 8 here, tracking down those Ravagers, they're, in my situation, they're a little bit more difficult to kill than, say, like the Pyros or the Marauders and stuff like that. Because I guess I could pull out my Hurricane and deal with them with that, but there's just not a lot of time to deal with an enemy that's going to take that long to kill. These Banshees, like I said, they're on me so fast. I don't have much time to really dork around, and there's another down. Darn it. So quick biotic charge gives me my shields, my barriers back. Sorry, and I'm just going to keep going counterclockwise here. Basically, I think the best way, what I'm doing to deal with these Ravagers, I'm hitting them with an Accolade shot, and then I'm biotic charging for the fire explosion. And if I have time to put a couple more shots into them, I am. If not, then I just leave them with a nice Incinerate DOT effect, and then just rotate around the board, and on my next pass, drop another Accolade shot and another biotic charge, and hopefully after my second pass I can finish him off, and then he'll respawn, you know, adding to the wave budget. But if not, then you know, I'll just catch him on my third pass, whatever it takes, little by little. A lot of people who do platinum solos, they feel like when you start shooting an enemy, you have to finish it off, but really you don't. A good example is the Krogan soldier with the Inferno grenades. If you hit an enemy with an Inferno grenade and run around, by the time you're halfway to the other side of the map, then you know he's pretty much died from DOT. And if he hasn't, then there's not going to be a lot left on his armor bars. So you can just maybe drop another Inferno grenade and continue on your merry way, and then that should hopefully end it. Quick improvise there. The stairway is blocked by the Banshee, so I'm just going to go around this way. There's a lot of half circles on this map that you can run, which is really, really nice actually. It gives a lot of room for improvising, a lot of room for, you know, quick on the fly, you know, moving and evading techniques. And honestly, with these characters that don't evade, anything like that is good. Any opportunity that you have, that, you know, for taking an alternate route that's going to give you the same effect or the same result is very valuable. So I think this map, you know, it's a very, very difficult solo map. Don't get me wrong, but like I said, I do a lot of speed runs on it, so I'm very familiar with it. It's a very balanced map. Definitely, Geth is a very, very difficult opponent. I think I actually messaged Hardcore Salmon a little while ago. If you don't know who Hardcore Salmon is, he's a very accomplished soloist for Mass Effect 3. He's definitely set the standard for a lot of solos. First person to do a flawless solo, and flawless meaning 10 waves survived and no equipment used, which is, I believe he used the Destroyer on Firebase Jade. That's an amazing accomplishment considering he was the first person to do it. It's great, you know. A lot of these guys, you know, they're out there setting the standard. You know, being the first person to do something is definitely something special, especially on platinum solos and on a difficulty of this magnitude. Hardcore Salmon is he's a friend of mine. I don't play with him a lot, you know. We've played here and there, but he's definitely a stand-up guy, very nice guy. He does amazing work. His solos are very good. But like I was saying anyways, I don't know if I said it already, but let me repeat myself if I did. He was saying that I asked him what the hardest maps were, and he said Glacier Hazard versus Geth and Firebase Jade versus Geth. And so that definitely motivated me to want to get this solo done. Also being one of the only people that have soloed Jade against Geth, you know, his accomplishment on its own. It's a very difficult solo, so I'm very happy to have this on my resume of solos. Probably next for me on the solos that I want to do. If you guys have any ideas or any challenges that you want to challenge me with, solos that I would you'd like to see me do, please let me know. I would love to get some ideas from you guys. Coming up with characters and ideas to do, you know, it's tricky. I did get a challenge to do the Volus, I will do a Volus solo, but not anytime soon. There's a lot of other stuff I want to get done first. I think I'll do a Volus solo when once I got my map, all the maps done. I'll probably pick a map to do that with, or if there's some completionist challenges that are like all of the infiltrators or all of the Geth or all of the Sentinels, you know, like stuff like that, all of the Turians. There's a couple of those I would like to get done before I start doing more novelty style solos. The Volus is a very difficult character to use. If you use him a lot, he's not so difficult to use. He's very powerful. His survivability is amazing. He has the best tack cloak in the game. It may not be the longest tack cloak, it may not give you a damage bonus, but it is the most effective tack cloak in the game. If you're doing a solo and you tack cloak with the Volus, it actually works. You know, like the enemies do not lock onto you. You dump aggro, I guess, onto nothing because there is no one to dump aggro onto, but it is the most effective tack cloak in the game. And also he has shield booster, which is phenomenal for his survivability. With a very fast recharge speed, you can spam shield booster so quickly that his survivability is amazing. Depending on the character, or sorry, the class of the Volus, there's a lot of options with him. He's a really good character. A lot of people just don't know how to use him, so I think it's kind of given him a bad name. A lot of people will kick you in a lobby if you come into a lobby with a Volus right off the bat, just because they don't understand the potential of that character. He's not really made to do a lot of weapon damage, but with the right weapon he can do a lot of weapon damage. You know, with biotic charge you could be doing the same thing I'm doing here with an acolyte, you know, detonating fire explosions over and over, but at the same time as replenishing your shields, you have shield booster also. So, you know, there's just a lot of great combinations with these Voluses. They're a bit funny to use. They're very comic the way they roll, and when the funniest thing for me with them is when you get down at the top of a staircase and he just kind of does a Humpty roll down down the bottom of the stairs. I definitely, there's a lot of comedic value with that character, and it's a lot of fun. You know, if you don't like the Volus, I can understand that. I can understand why, but he's definitely great for the team. A lot of times we'll use him on speedruns even, actually, because when you're escorting or when you're doing a hack and he's shield boosting your team, it's great. It's a very, very big help. So right here I'm looking to just get a group of enemies together here, hoping that maybe I can knock that wave budget down a little bit. So that wasn't too bad. I got 2 primes, I got a Banshee, and they spawn right down below me to the right. So, you know, I got another little amount there. Almost got taken out by that Phantom. The very close call. I got 7 rockets left. I think I'm probably thinking that maybe if an opportunity knocks, I'll spend 1 or 2 more of those rockets. This is a very, very difficult wave. Wave 9 is the wave on Geth. It is a very difficult wave. So you got to be very careful. Rocket troopers, banshees, primes. We got it all. We got phantoms. It is, like I said, this is a very, very difficult wave. Very hard. So I'm gonna try really hard here just to stay alive, keep rotating. You know, try to get through this wave without using too much equipment. I got 2 primes here, and I know there's a Banshee on my tail, so I'm going to pull this rocket out and get ready. And hopefully I can get all 3 here, but I don't think I do. It looks like I get the Phantom and both primes, and that Banshee is completely unscathed, which is just amazing to me. She was so close to that rocket, and she didn't even take 1 bar of damage. But you know, that's the way the ball bounces, so I'm continuing here on my merry way. Looks like we got a rocket trooper on his own here, so I'm going to make short work of him. And whoa, that Banshee just teleported right in front of me. That was very close. Very close. So thank you for not picking me up, Banshee, because that would have been very frustrating. I've had really bad luck. Well, I did this solo here. Man, my luck was just awful. Another good rocket there, but somehow that Banshee made it through. I don't know how that Banshee survived. That just baffles me. It just baffles me. She was standing right there. I don't even think there's an enemy between her and the rocket. But anyways, I'm going to finish her off really quick here. And looks like the wave budget's getting down there a bit, but I definitely got a ways to go. Quick biotic charge, get my barriers back. And I'm just going to run to the other side of the board here because the opposition is very thick on the lower end of the board there. So I'm going to refill my ammo, come back to the staircase, and try and chip this wave budget down a little bit more. If you can get a good rhythm here, like, I really don't try to promote spawn nuking, but honestly, in a platinum solo, if you can get some good spawn nukes off on this wave, I think that it would definitely, it would take a lot of grief off of you, a lot of stress off your shoulders. I didn't get any good spawn nukes, but you know, I definitely got some good nukes in. Not to mention that it would also decrease the amount of time that you spend doing this solo. I need to keep track of my rockets. I need to make sure I at least have 4 rockets in case I get targets on 10. I don't understand how I'm getting targets so often. Speedruns, that's what we want. We want targets on 3, 6, and 10. You know, that's the fastest you can do a speedrun on this map. And like I said, it's like 1 out of every 250 games I get targets on all 3. It's so rare. And 2 games ago I got targets on all 3, and then I got targets last game again for one of the objectives. And so, yeah, like I said earlier, that's why I brought armor compartments. It's insurance. More than likely, I'm not going to get targets on the next wave, but like I said, this game is a troll, and there's a good chance I'm going to get targets on the end of this wave, but we'll wait and see. So the wave's winding down. Looks like I got this prime right here in front of me. He's down to 3 bars. As you can see, every accolade shot takes 1 bar off of him. It's really, it takes him down quick, and then a quick biotic explosion finishes. Biotic charge with a fire explosion finishes him off. 1 more prime right here, and I think this is the last enemy on the board, if I remember correctly. Yes, it is. One prime versus myself. I really, it's not much of a challenge at all. You just got to remember to really keep an eye on that barrier bar down there, and if you get low, just a quick biotic charge to fill it up. And he is primed for a fire explosion again. The beauty about fire explosions with him is if his turrets are close, then the collateral damage is going to take those out. So 1 bar left, and I'm just going to finish him off with my hurricane here, and done and over. Quick biotic charge to the turret just to get me on the other side of the wall there so I can get back to my starting position quickly. And what do you know? Targets on 10. Big surprise. So hallelujah, thank you. I brought armor compartments, so I'm going to be able to deal with this accordingly. So a good thing about the playing a Vanguard basically and having my rocket launcher out, any point on this map, all I have to do is get that little red circle around the enemy. I can biotic charge right next to him, right on his lap, and drop a missile on his lap at the same time. But in this situation, I actually didn't really have to do that. I got really lucky on where the targets spawned, and very, very fast targets right here. I think right here, see, I biotic charge right into the middle of them, stunning them all and finishing them off with a rocket. And look what happens. They spawn right in front of me, right there. I wait for the money to show. Boom. The wave budget is really down. Not the wave budget, sorry. The cleanup is, that's 3 out of 8. So that leaves me with 5 enemies left to clean up. 1 Banshee and some small fries, basically. So I got really lucky on that cleanup. I don't know how those enemies spawned in front of me like that, but they did. I'm really glad they did. I'm glad that I saved that extra rocket, because that really helped my cleanup right there. So I'm just going to go around here. I think, let's see, I have 4 enemies or 3 enemies left, I'm not sure, but there's not a lot left. If I can find them. Okay, there we go, the Banshee. And it looks like we have a Phantom and maybe, I don't know what else is back there, but definitely got a couple enemies around. So I'm just going to take my time here, be really careful, try and get that Phantom away from that Banshee so that way I can take her out without having to worry about getting insta-killed by the Banshee. Alright, so here comes my last line of opposition. These are the only things separating me from extraction, and not gonna lie, I am nervous. Phantom is down, so yay. Excuse me. I need to basically get this Banshee down. The stairs is going to be the way to do it. Looks like, oh, we got a Hunter over here, so I'll take that Hunter down. Another Hunter's down. I think that is it. I think that the Banshee is all I have left now. So I'm going to be really careful, because the last thing in the world I want to happen right now is to get picked up by that Banshee. I would literally be in tears at this point. It was pretty late when I did this, So I'm not gonna lie, I was very tired. I wasn't on top of my game as well as I could have been or should have been. I would recommend, if you guys are going to do platinum solos or anything that requires this much concentration, just to do it when you're fresh, do it when you're starting your day, or do it when you're not exhausted like how I was. I think that the gameplay turned out okay. I mean, obviously it's a platinum solo on against Geth on Jade. It's one of the most difficult maps to do. If you saw right there when that Banshee teleported next to me, that was very close. She was almost right next to me on the same level, which could have ended the game, which, like I said, I would have been in tears. I'm very nervous right now. I still get very nervous on these last couple waves. I don't know if it's anxious or if it's being nervous or what it is, but my adrenaline definitely gets going a bit. My heart rate gets going a bit. It's a very intense feeling. I can say it's almost addictive. It's very addictive. I know I've mentioned that before, but I think it's a healthy addiction to some extent anyways. So right now I got 1:48 left on the board. I need to try and make these enemies come to me as slowly as possible. So starting in my starting position, I'm moving counterclockwise around the map, and just trying to take my time here, trying to buy as much time as I can at each stop. I think what I'm planning here is to do 2 laps. That's my plan. No, it doesn't always work out that way, but with 1:20 left on the board, I think 2 laps is a pretty realistic game plan. So I'm right here. This is the extraction position for when you're doing speed runs. You have 3 people here and then 1 person up top there. So kind of thought maybe I could hold out here for a little bit. Looks like I'm at 56 seconds, so I'm going to go around here, hang out on the top corner, just keep on dragging the clock down as much as possible. I don't want to move too fast because I don't want to bring the enemies through the middle of the map. 43 seconds left on the board. I need to make sure that LZ is clear. I have no rockets to clear it. Lots of thermal clips, lots of metagels, lots of survival ops. I'm doing just fine on that. So I'm at the bottom of the map now. I got about 27 seconds left on the board, so just going to try and pull the enemies away from the LZ as much as possible here. I got downed. So this is another example of biotic charge and how handy it can come in. See, I just bypassed all those enemies, past the drones, and I'm straight for cover on the LZ. Using a survival ops that fills me up, gives me a moment of invulnerability. And all I got to do is ride out the clock here, and there we go, full extraction. That is Firebase Jade Geth on Platinum Solo, 56 minutes 46 seconds. I just want to take a quick moment here to thank you guys all. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to all my friends and family for the support you guys have given me. I'm trying really hard to make this channel something special, something great for you guys. Like I said, any feedback is great, positive or negative. I take it all. I take it all very seriously. I take constructive criticism very well. Thank you again to my subscribers for your support. You guys have been great, and I hope you guys enjoyed this content. I hope my commentary is good to you guys. And thanks again, and until next time, take care.